Thanks everyone for joining us on this Veterans Day. Designed to Disappear is the name of this presentation. Today we'll be talking about technology that is designed to disappear. During today's training, we'll cover luxury experience, drawing parallels between lighting and audio design, building technology into architecture and interior design, and then we will talk about the next steps, where we will introduce the integrator as a partner to support designing a luxury experience. Let's begin by defining the luxury experience. Luxury design is more than a look. It's a feeling. It is an experience. Many details go into creating a feeling of luxury, and it goes beyond the furniture, textiles, and color selections. These spaces are living, breathing environments where people live their day-to-day lives. Creating a feeling of luxury includes selecting elements that help make the space feel comfortable and elevated. Temperature, lighting, room acoustics, music. These are technologies in the home that we can control to match the mood or activity to create a dynamic atmosphere for that space. These are things we want to think about and consider, but we don't necessarily want to see. In fact, the experience is more luxurious if we do not see these elements. Adding a well-designed lighting and audio into a space can be perhaps the most impactful factors in the luxury experience. Imagine the warm morning welcome a kitchen would provide with the right layers of light at the right color temperature and just the right brightness to give your eyes a chance to wake up, and gentle music filling the air, boosting your mood and getting you ready for the day. The notes and vocals blanketing the room so that it sounds omnipresent as you move about from the fridge to the stovetop. Now imagine that space transforming for a dinner party late that evening. The lights and music now able to adapt for that activity, creating a new space entirely. The experience is luxurious, and the magic of it is that you can't pinpoint where the light is coming from or where the speakers are in the ceiling. The magic is that these things are just present and we cannot see their sources. This is at the center of what we believe. We believe when you effectively hide technology into design while delivering exceptional performance, you add magic to the luxury experience. This is obviously true for lighting. It is our mission as designers and architects to do this with lighting design on every project. Perhaps the concept of incorporating audio in the same way, though, is new to some of you. You may not have known that audio could be so impactful to the luxury experience, or that it would be hidden to become more magical. We're going to talk about speakers and what we call audio design. So why would you care? Well, there's the obvious reason. It's visual impact on your design. Your client is going to want audio in their home. If you have no involvement, someone else is going to come in after the fact with no consideration for your design. There is also the experiential impact of audio on homeowners' life. People are spending more time inside their homes. This is now true more than ever. This is the misconception that there is a misconception that playing music in a space might discourage people from talking and interacting with one another. People think, oh, I better shut off the music so we can hold a conversation. But the fact is, studies show that people talk and interact more when there is music playing, setting the mood. Studies also show that there are many advantages to adding music to the things we do throughout our lives and in our homes. Listening to music affects our social, emotional, cognitive, and physiological well-being. Music impacts us socially. It facilitates social connections. It increases bonding through sharing. And music affects us emotionally. It has cognitive effects. It enhances attention, memory, planning, and focus. It improves auditory speech and reading abilities. Great audio is an abstract concept. There is the misconception that only audiophiles want great music systems and audio systems and are willing to budget for them. or that people can't really tell the difference between good and bad sounding audio. To understand this, we must first understand that whole home audio has a very different purpose than audiophile audio. Audiophile listening is a lean forward experience where one seat is perfectly tuned between two ear level speakers. The vast majority of your clients have no desire for this solitary experience. They are, however, very interested in adding audio to their lives as an accompaniment to entertaining, conversing, and moving around in their homes. Home audio is deployed in spaces where people are typically moving about and talking with one another. Listening to music in this application is not the primary activity, it's the supporting element. The music sets the mood for the things that happen in the space. The goal of distributed home audio for this client puts comfort and aesthetics at the forefront. It should sound good at low or high volumes. It should be comfortable to listen to. It should allow the occupants of the room to hold a conversation and still have enjoyable music playing in the background. And it should never be an audible or aesthetic distraction. If it's done poorly, it will feel uncomfortable and your client just won't use it. You may be familiar with the classic, "Honey, we can turn this crap off, it's giving me a headache." However, if it's done well, it enhances the primary activities. The home audio system will be something your client will want to have on more than off. That dialogue will now be, "Honey, I know the guests aren't coming for another hour, but why don't we put on some music?" We think audio the same way we think about lighting. Audio design starts to make more sense. This is because lighting and audio require the same factors in order to deliver the best experience, because they are very much the same in how they are designed. Let's consider the aspects of lighting design that elevate the luxury experience. For lighting to become luxurious, we believe it must be designed for function and emotion, applied in unique and surprising ways, comfortable and balanced, and it must deliver dramatic effects from a hidden source. Let's see some examples of these. Great lighting must be designed for both function and emotion. Here we have various lighting fixtures working in harmony, each selected and placed to illuminate distinct areas for functionality and beauty. Great lighting must be applied in unique and surprising ways. Lighting supports other elements in the space, like artwork. It can show up in unique applications like illuminating stairways. Great lighting must be comfortable and balanced. Lighting can be applied throughout a space in different layers to provide even coverage and a seamless flow from interior spaces to the outdoors. And great lighting must deliver dramatic effects from a hidden source. This is the ability of the lighting hardware in a space to disappear, revealing only its effects. We can apply the same aspects that make lighting luxurious to audio design. They follow the same principles. Let's look at why that is by digging into the parallels between them. For both lighting and audio, achieving even, balanced coverage is critical for a luxury experience.
A large pair of speakers into the ceiling above the kitchen might add music to that area, but it won't provide the absolute best listening experience. This approach is like installing two giant lights in the ceiling. While there may be enough light in the room, standing directly under the beam of light is uncomfortable. We like to think beyond this idea. Just as a great lighting plan provides smooth, consistent light, a great speaker layout provides even, balanced sound. Paying attention to the size, shape, and trim of the lights allows technology to disappear into the architecture. These two ideas combined can deliver a truly magical experience. So, whether music softly accompanies your morning cup of coffee, or you turn up the volume for that special party, you can create just the right mood for any moment of your life.
The results of a well-executed lighting and audio design provide even, balanced coverage and elevate the way we experience the space. Architectural audio and lighting have similar aesthetics. Are offered in the same sizes, and they are offered in the same shapes. They can also even match the same trim and finish, like a flanged finish with a bezel. They can also even match the same trim. Or flush mount into the surface with a trimless finish, something very popular now. Or we can flush mount into the surface with a trimless finish. What about cases where the surface material changes? Well, the hardware can adapt to match. The light fixture can change to match the surrounding elements, but speakers can take it even a step further with custom powder coating and blend in with the surrounding surface. There's a good example there. The speaker trim can even match the surface itself. Speaker trims and grills can be made of wood to blend in with the ceiling. Speakers don't stop there. The speaker grill can even be custom routed right into the wood plank to actually become part of the ceiling. And don't forget, the speakers can even go as far as becoming invisible altogether, a category that's now been elevated quite a bit. Invisible speakers are the ultimate expression of technology that is designed to disappear. And since new speaker designs and engineering have advanced, invisible speakers sound as good as, and in some cases better than, traditional architectural speakers, leaving you with all the benefits of invisibility without compromise to the performance. When laying out speakers for a project, we must consider many of the same factors as laying out lighting. Lighting plans look a lot like speaker plans. We must consider the furniture plan, the ceiling height, the surfaces, type of coverage each device will provide, all to ensure proper placement of the light or speaker in the ceiling. But these two plans are being designed for the same ceiling, since the lighting and speakers are occupying the same surface. It makes sense to consider them at the same time and in the same plans. Seeing lights and speakers laid out together on the same reflected ceiling may look overwhelming. The good news is that speakers have this ability to hide in ways that lighting just can't. Unlike lights that by design have an unavoidable penetration in the ceiling, speakers have the benefit of a grill finish that can be color matched and flush mounted to make them disappear. The finished result is a well-executed system of even lighting and audio that is elegantly hidden throughout the ceiling. The speakers are so well hidden that you may not even see them. The more off-axis you are from them, the more likely they are to disappear. So we've defined the luxury experience and explored many similarities between lighting and audio and important factors in the luxury experience. We now know that these technologies are more impactful on the luxury experience when they are hidden. So let's talk about how to build these and other technologies into architecture and interior design. When it comes to home technology and building materials, there are clearly some elements that will always be temporary or traditional, like televisions. We want to be careful about how we install these temporary elements into a project, whether they change because the technology has changed or because the style has changed. They can become obsolete quickly and will have to be updated. On the flip side, there are other elements such as windows, HVAC, and lighting that are permanent. We should consider many home elements in this way. If the technology of the element is not at risk for becoming obsolete, it should be built into the architecture. Lights and speakers fit this perfectly. They are passive elements that are unlikely to be updated due to technology changes or style changes. And when we hide them in the architecture, the style will be never to be a factor, meaning these technologies can last the life of the home. If we look for the same key factor we're considering other technologies deployed throughout the home, we will know exactly which ones we should build and hide into the architecture. In this case, for many home technologies, HVAC, receptacles, switches, keypads, control devices, lighting, and audio. We all want these elements to be hidden, so the design is all that's left for the eye to see. We don't want to overlook these details, because details matter. They can make or break how luxurious a space feels. Missing these details can disrupt the design and the experience. Let's go over some techniques for hiding these permanent elements into the architecture of the home. Some of the elements we build into architecture require venting or porting. There are discrete new ways to achieve this without diminishing the design. HVAC is a technology that we are used to designing into architecture, but linear diffusers for HVAC typically sit proud of the ceiling or wall surface. We can blend those into the space using glass reinforced gypsum products for a seamless finish across the surface. Historically, some audio hardware, like subwoofers, have had to sit within the room and take up space. There are now premium performance subwoofers that are designed to be installed into the architecture and then ported and finished like a GRG linear diffuser to blend in with the surface, much like HVAC. And we can use other porting solutions for audio where needed. We can even port subwoofers from a 4-inch opening to resemble other speaker grills of the same size and shape in the room. Another technique that allows technology to disappear is precision mounting with a flush finish. For many elements, there is mounting hardware that can be installed within the architecture to reserve placement of devices, allowing for a clean, flush trim solution to be installed and finished later. The result is beautiful, clean surfaces with no distractions. We can even use this process to install outlets where code dictates, but where they may not be necessary for the design. In these instances, a magnetic blank fascia can be placed right over the receptacle, making it vanish into the surface. This idea can be carried through to all the devices in a space, showcasing the design and not the technology. In addition to being able to flush mount the elements in the room, these finishes can be customized to match the surrounding surface. In the past, hiding technology into custom finishes was extremely difficult to achieve, and the results were often inconsistent. The right partner can take the flush-mounted hardware and help match custom finishes with faux painting for completely disguised integration into your design. In the foreground here, see a hidden receptacle, flush-mounted and faux painted to match the intricate detail of the surrounding granite. What you may not have noticed is the 2-gang dimmer to the right. By flush mounting and custom matching the finish, these elements completely disappear. Spot that one to the right. Again, a detailed finish so hidden that it disappears. Not only can your partner help match faux paint, but he or she can also help you match finishes with metal, wood, powder coat, laminate, wallpaper, plaster, or even custom hydro dip film to camouflage technology into your design. By flush mounting custom finishes and designing your client's technologies into architecture, you are able to achieve all the luxury with none of the compromise. Here's a luxury space with all the technology and none of the compromise. Do you spot any technology? The room is complete with HVAC return, keypads for lighting and audio control, a hidden subwoofer, and flush-mounted lights and matching speakers. All the technology is here and beautifully, seamlessly incorporated. As clean as this space is, there is technology here too. Hide technology by flush mounting electrical outlets into the baseboard, flush mounting HVAC linear diffusers, and installing completely invisible speakers with mud and paint right into the ceiling. Every detail is there for your client's comfort without taking away from the visual impact of the design. The details of this yoga studio elevate the experience and make it magical. The space is clear of distracting elements, but has the soothing atmosphere of audio and comfortable lighting. All the technology is completely disguised. All that is left is the experience. We hope that you now understand our belief that luxury is much more than just finishes and colors. The luxury experience is feeling and emotions that can be exponentially elevated by the magic of hidden technology. So how do we get started? Let's talk about next steps. We hope that you will embrace this belief and approach and incorporate it in your process beginning at the design stage. But in order to do so, you need to plan early. Step 1, find a technology partner like Boca Tech. Find someone who has a design first philosophy and invite them to have a seat at the design table at the onset of the project. You want a partner who looks at every element first and foremost with the question, how will this fit into the design? Followed by, of course, considerations for performance and ease of use. But always starts with design. Look for someone who understands that what they bring to the table isn't technology, it's their ability to hide the technology into architecture and support your vision. Bring them into the project early as a partner who has one foot on the design team and one foot on the construction team, a unique position and a true partner to maximize the harmony across every design element. They should be able to help you implement your design through the construction process. When looking for an integrator to be a great partner, ask them to show you examples of ways they've successfully hidden technology in the home. Find out what they're capable of. The result of a well-planned collaborative design is a luxury experience. This is why we design technology to disappear. That's it. Questions for anyone?
Wow, that was really good. Now I know we have an echo, so please hit mute on your end.
You should be good now.
Okay. So I wanted to throw out that we worked with Wayne and his team when building the BTA Design Center in Boca, and we have installed examples of, and these are the flush hidden things very similar to what you saw in the presentation of speakers, keypads, linear diffusers, outlets, and so forth. We have them cut into stone, into lacquer, into wood. We have them fauxed, and so forth. So if you want to see examples of these things, even matching lighting fixtures and so forth, we do have them here at the shop, and we can arrange a meeting with Wayne, who I would say is probably the expert in South Florida on this type of thing. One of the other things I wanted to point out with the audio is it's not really just about like listening to music, because I've heard people tell me, oh, we don't use music, we don't listen to music, we just want it occasionally. And that would be the thought that let's get something cheaper because we don't use it that often. I mean, there's cheap and there's elegant. So to hide it, these types of things that are hidden usually are more expensive because of the architectural finishes. But also you can use this technology to do a lot more than just background music. For example, doorbell distribution around a large property, inside, outside, bathrooms, places you can normally not hear a doorbell. TV sound uplift. So we've got the speakers. I use them for audio while listening to music, or I listen to the TV sound with it as well. So just want to kind of throw out that there are several different ways to leverage the same technology, for different use cases. let's see, what do we have here for questions? Where do you locate the central equipment? Hey, Wayne, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I mean, normally there's an area set aside early in the process for an equipment rack. And this is also a good idea because in many ways, because it allows the integrator to properly protect all the products in one location rather than having stuff dotted all over the house. And there are high technology means for distributing all the audio and video from that one spot. So in the early going, you do want to plan to have an area in a closet or in the garage or wherever the integrator thinks is the best place to do it, to centrally locate as much of the equipment as possible.
Yeah, so as far as that goes, here's a couple things that I'd put out as far as planning a central equipment closet. The acronyms there, MEC, main equipment closet. You'll see that on blueprints. CEC, centralized equipment closet. But you typically want to minimize wire runs to the endpoint. So something more centrally located in the house is ideal. We can work underneath like stairs, but it is hard to route wires through a staircase. So that is not a retrofit solution, but it is a pre-construction solution. There is a incorrect belief by everyone, and I'm talking about the builder, the air conditioning guy, a homeowner, whatever, that if you put a air conditioning drop in the equipment closet, that you're good. Kind of like what you might do in a master bedroom closet. The problem is clothes don't generate heat, but equipment does. So putting a drop in does not work. Because the air conditioner cycles on and off based on wherever the thermostat is, and you typically want to run your equipment closet cooler than the rest of the house. Plus, you want it to work when the air conditioner is off, like in the winter time with the windows open, or maybe just when it's doing its normal cycling. So you've got to plan for air conditioning, usually a mini split or a hot air exhaust vent would work. One of the other things is noise pollution. This equipment is noisy, especially when it's all in one closet. So we have to be careful to make sure that the room is not emitting noise into the common areas. That's an important thing, which is one of the reasons why I don't like equipment in the main living areas, like buried in a cabinet or something, because it's noisy, it's hot, it gets dusty, very hard to service. And then the last thing is power protection. If you can protect the power in one place, take advantage of the economies of scale. So planning out that equipment closet, much like a centralized air conditioning closet, needs to be done at the very beginning, and it should be planned right on in so that it's hidden and easily accessible, but not seen when it's when you're not in service mode with it. So a lot of the technologies that we work on here are designed to distribute things so that we can hide all the equipment in a MEC or CEC without having to sort of interrupt the design of the room by trying to bury equipment in addition to the TVs and the speakers and so forth. So that's my spiel on equipment closets. Are there any other questions out there from anyone? I don't really see anything in the chat window here. Wayne, I'll throw it over to you if you want to. Do you have any project photos or things that you might have that you could share with us that would give examples of things that that you think fall into this design aesthetic?
I'm sure I can dig up something. I wanted to emphasize that, in this talk, we mentioned, choosing the right integrator and that they needed to be designed forward. That's true. But I will tell you that the people who are most design forward are also the most technically savvy, because those two things go together. You're not going to be able to pull off a really seamless installation if your integrator is not technically savvy and it knows about all the newest techniques. So you want to make sure you've got both elements in the person you've acquired. Many guys say, "Hey, I'm a super tech guy, don't know much about design." We have other guys that know a fair bit about design, but not too much about technology. So you want to make sure you've got both of those things available to you. Let me see. I don't know if I've got anything here immediately. Let's have a look. I did have something, a job we did in Highland Beach. Let me see if I can find the what I'm looking for here.
While you're looking that up, Wayne, so I get a lot of questions about wireless speakers and wireless technologies. Probably should hit mute on your end. And I think there's a notion that if it's wireless, it's hidden. And obviously, if there's no wire, then you're not seeing the wire. But the thing is that you still have to power that device, so it has to be plugged in. And anything that's wireless, you're not really going to integrate in architecturally. Hardwire speakers never have to be touched for the life of the house because you don't have to change a battery, and you really don't have, if they're all passive devices that are powered from the equipment closet. So all of the power supplies and anything else that generates heat and we need to replace over time, amplifiers, whatnot for the speaker, they're all in the equipment closet. But everything else is hardwired and integrated into the architecture. So wireless is not really hidden. The other thing is TVs. This is kind of a sore point because I've seen people live with 15 or 20-year-old TVs and live without Netflix and Amazon Prime and some of these other things because they don't want to redo the beautiful installation that was done years and years ago. So when we design things, we have to design with the idea that we're going to replace certain things. Wireless access points, televisions fall into that category because network speeds aren't getting slower, they just get faster. And every 5 years, we're in another generation of something. TV's moving faster than that. So what we want to do is have really nicely looking integrations, but not be trapped into a box where we can never upgrade anything, and then the client is stuck with a beautiful house with old technology. Now the value of the house seems to go down as a result. So that's something else that can be done if we if we plan ahead correctly. I see you've got some things up there, some photos up there, Wayne. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, some of these are very high res, so they don't show up well. Here's one I shrunk down. Here's a good example of a Lutron lighting keypad, which actually, Jeff, you have something like this in your conference room, showing how it can be used to be made flush and to essentially disappear with just the elements of use available for the client. I have a bunch of these, which I can shrink down and send to anybody who'd like to see them. So if you want to leave your information with Jeff, I'll be happy to send all those to you.
Yeah, this is I think what you're showing here is something called TrueFig, and we've done the keypads like this, outlets, hidden in drywall, wood, stone. We've also I've seen the TrueFig like recess an iPad. And it's interesting, like iPads change in shape, so you don't want to bury that in the wall, but you can bury the charging dock because you can replace your iPad and a little sleeve that makes it compatible with the charging dock without having to change what's in the wall. And the iPads are very popular. Oh, that's a really good one with the stones. I like that one.
Yeah, that really shows that the right artist can really make that look 3D.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, one thing I would point out is if you faux paint an outlet, it'll probably last about 30 seconds. As soon as someone uses it, they'll scratch off the faux paint and it won't look very good anymore. So that's another thing I liked about TrueFig. There are options around that where the color is matched, and you can actually use the outlet like in a kitchen. You want to hide it, but you still need to use it. Yeah, there you go. That's a good example of one. I'm sure if we use it, it wouldn't all flake off and make it look horrible around where the plugs insert.
Exactly, and normally they'll put a clear coat there so it can take quite a bit of use without any trouble. And of course, the ability to have a blank plate over that hole is just amazing. If you really want to make stuff disappear, hallways, especially in this one home, we probably did 200 openings. Probably 40 of them had blank plates on them because they're either never going to be used or they're going to be used once a quarter for the maid to buff the floors or something, and that's it.
Right, right. It's interesting here. We were coached during the design of our design center. We matched the grill work in the ceiling, which are the air conditioning grills, with the patterns on a door, on a closet door, and also with the speakers. So they're very different technologies. Speakers, doors, air conditioning, and so on. But this particular company did have solutions that worked for all these, so that they kind of look like they all blended together, even though they're completely different disciplines.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, I think we can probably close, if there's no questions here, we can probably close this one up early. And unless you have something else to add, Wayne.
No, I think that's a good overview. It was a lot of information in a short period of time. So let everybody sort of think about that. But the overriding view is you need to bring your integrator in early. I get calls every day where guys that the job is almost done and now somebody's called them to try to implement something like this, and it just can't be done. It has to be planned early.
Right, right. Excellent. Well, thanks a lot for your time and effort, Wayne. Thoroughly enjoyed the presentation. This was a new one, so you guys are the first ones to see it, and I think I love the imagery and the planning. It looks great. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for attending today's Boca Tech Talk.